Hey, what's going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be talking about what I would do if I started from zero. If I completely lost all my money, if I lost all my equipment, because that's very important, all my computers, all my tech stuff, if I lost all my businesses, literally everything. And I'm going to walk you through step by step what I would do today if I was starting fresh. I think that this would be incredibly helpful because when I was just starting out with online business and with entrepreneurship, honestly, for me, the thing that would have helped me the most was a step-by-step roadmap and to really hear it from somebody who has gone down the journey, has basically done it all to achieve a certain point. And obviously, I'd want to hear it from somebody who is a multimillionaire at least, so that it's somebody credible telling me. And obviously, you don't want to take advice from somebody who is not in the position that you want to be in. And I think that a lot of people obviously look up to me. A lot of people want to be in my position. And I have people that I look up to as well. And for me, honestly, the most useful thing at this point in my life would be to hear how somebody who has built a $1 billion business, how they got there from just basically being a multimillionaire. So that's just an example. I really, really believe in the fact that every single person should only listen to those people who are living the lives that they want to be living, from people that they would basically trade places with in their life. So to start off, the answer is honestly very simple. I would do the exact same things that I did to get to where I am today, starting off when I was 21 years old. This was in 2016, 2017. But to really break it down for you and to make it really simple to follow, I'm going to pretend that I am speaking to the 20 or 21-year-old Dan, and I am going to be basically telling you, I'm going to pretend that I'm speaking to myself. I'm going to be telling myself what I would do, in hindsight, based on what I know today, which is obviously on a whole other level. I'm a whole different person than I was at 21 years old, obviously not only financially, but in every single other way, because there's a saying, it's like, become a millionaire, not for the money, but for the person that you will become. Because when you start setting these high goals, which, by the way, I think that everybody should try to become a millionaire. I don't think it's very hard at all, especially today. The value of money obviously goes down and down with inflation over time. And $1 million today is significantly less in terms of real money than it was even 10, 20 years ago. So if you look at the average house in any major city, for example, where I'm from in Canada, it's literally like $1 million to buy a house, right? So really, in today's economy, you really have no choice but to try to become a millionaire, to become a millionaire, right? There's no trying, there's just becoming. So the first thing that I would tell my 21-year-old self is that basically everything that you've been taught about money, most of the things that you've been taught about money, about life, about just living in general, and about how the entire world works and how society and finances and business works, all of that is wrong. You can basically chuck it all out the window. And the reason why you've been taught wrong is because of societal conditioning. So you've been taught all these things from people in your life that are just in your life, they're just surrounding you, right? So when you go to work, obviously you're surrounded by your coworkers, right? If it's a 9-to-5 job, like when I was working 9-to-5, I was surrounded by coworkers. And was that a positive or a negative energy? Well, in fact, it was actually a negative energy for me. And, you have to also understand that the way that you've been living, and this is me speaking to my younger self, the way that you've been living for the first 21 years of your life, that's all basically been the result of being stuck in this bubble, in this small bubble of just being in your hometown and seeing the same people every day, going to the same places. You go to school, you go to the gym, you go to work, right? And you're always basically feeding off that energy of being in this bubble where you've grown up. Like most people, they usually just basically live in their own bubble, and maybe they travel once in a while. Maybe they go to Europe, the classic Paris, Italy, all those destinations, and then they always return. They always come back to their bubble, right? Maybe they'll go to Mexico or Bali or something like that, but that's usually a one-off thing. Usually people that are doing those kinds of things, they've left their bubble and they're on their own, I call it Freedom Lifeline. So they're on their own journey, right? What the Freedom Lifeline is it's a term that I made up, I created, and essentially what it means is that it's the lifeline where you are doing what you're meant to be doing. You are making millions of dollars doing what you love, or at least multiple six figures. And it's from an online business, because nowadays there is no better business to start than an online business. And basically you are incredibly happy. You are living the life of your dreams. You have amazing relationships, and everything just fits. Everything just fits. You're not like one of those millionaires, because there's so many millionaires who just absolutely hate their lives. You're not like one of those people, right? So you're actually really loving your life and you are living at peak existence, right? So that's the first thing. I would tell myself that pretty much everything you've been taught is wrong, and that, consciously or subconsciously, you've been feeding off the energy of all the people in your life, from your friends, from coworkers, from your family, and every single one of these people, we all have dreams, right? But if you kind of just grow up in, I would say, just a small bubble, right? So where I grew up just outside of Toronto, big city. I actually wasn't born there. I'm like, I guess, an immigrant story. My parents, they came and brought me over from Eastern Europe to Canada. And so, the way that I grew up in that small bubble, I fed off the energy of all these people. And what that created was it created my paradigms, which also created limiting beliefs. So meaning that, let's say if somebody told me like, hey, Dan, you can get rich. Right away, I'd be like, okay, no, I can't. Right away, that would just be the answer. And so me telling my younger self, I would just say, you've been conditioned by society and you've basically been unconsciously or subconsciously feeding off the energies of all these people in your life, which has resulted in you developing certain beliefs, especially limiting beliefs about yourself, which your entire life is basically dictated by your beliefs. Your entire life is dictated by what you believe is possible for yourself. So, if I lived my life, let's say I lived my entire life, and I didn't believe that I could actually succeed, I didn't believe that I could actually make money without a regular 9-to-5 job, I would never even try. Right? So to actually believe it, to actually even achieve that, I first have to see that it's possible. And usually how that's done, and this is how it happened for me, I saw other people doing it. I saw other people online, on YouTube and influencers and things like that. I saw that people were actually on their freedom lifelines. At the time, I didn't know that term, right? But now obviously I've developed this term. But I saw these people just enjoying their lives. They were happy, they were making money, and they were traveling the world. So for me, that was like the first sign, right? And that was obviously not from my bubble, because everybody in my little bubble in my hometown, at my gym, at my work, at my school, we were all living the same lives. We were all living basically lies. and it's it's funny that I say that today, because it's true. If I look back, it's all a giant scam. We're all taught that you kind of grow up, you go to school, you get a job, go to university, right? And I could say that if you have what it takes to become an entrepreneur, then it's a giant scam for you and you should not do it. And I think that anybody can succeed. I really, really do believe that anybody can succeed if you actually believe in yourself and you also change your paradigms, change your beliefs. You do this inner work that's required to become this new person that can attract success for yourself. So that would be the first thing. It's so, so, so important, right? Because I know so many people, they're like, what do you mean? Like, you just got rich by basically getting into e-commerce at the right place at the right time, and then you started selling e-commerce products, then you made a YouTube channel, you sold a course, right? So just tell us what to do. Tell us like what product to launch. Tell us what business to start. Tell us what stock to buy. Should we buy crypto, Bitcoin, all this crap, right? And the truth is that success does not come from buying a certain stock or Bitcoin or getting into the right business at the right time. Like, surely, yes, if you got into e-commerce today, that'd be very smart, because like I said before, many times in my videos, one of the best pieces of billionaire advice that I got was to play the trends of today. And the biggest trend of today by far, next to some others, like cryptocurrency, stuff like that, which I would not recommend getting into if you're just starting. And definitely I would tell my 21-year-old self to stay away from that, stay away, because of various reasons, which I'll cover later. But, the biggest trend of today is e-commerce in terms of an actual business that you can start, where you're building up intrinsic value. You're building up something that you own, you entirely control, so you control your income. It's not like putting money into Bitcoin and then, all of that is basically at the risk of the market. It can drop, you can lose everything, or you can gain a lot, right? It's like 50-50 really. You don't really know if it's going to go up or down. So it all starts with first believing that it's possible. And the questions that I would make you ask yourself, my younger self, this is me talking to my younger self, I would basically say, realize that you've been living in a small little bubble your entire life, which has completely made you the person that you are today. And, throughout that entire time, I know that you're basically daydreaming a lot. You're daydreaming, and this was me when I was starting out at my job, even at the gym, at home. I was always daydreaming of the following questions. What if? It all started with what if. What if getting rich was possible? What if I could achieve a life so good where it's basically like living in a movie every single day, living in a walking, waking dream every single day? What if that was possible for me? What if, as opposed to what I've been told, it actually was possible to make money and sustain myself without having to work a regular 9-to-5 job and earn income that way for the rest of my life? What if I could actually achieve the same things that all the other successful people achieved that I see on Instagram and on YouTube? And why would that not be possible for me? And anything that I would respond to that question would just be like limiting beliefs. And again, that's the most important thing. You have to eliminate those limiting beliefs, right? And so I would tell my younger self that it is possible to achieve a life where you're literally living in a movie every single day. You have complete freedom. You're never worried about money. You have tons of money. You're making thousands of dollars every single day, as I do today, tens of thousands. And you are basically just living at peak existence. It is all possible. I didn't come from money. I didn't come from riches. I didn't have any like mentors. The only mentors that I had, which I'll mention later, were from online videos and courses. That's all. Like, that's the beautiful part about the 21st century. You can learn everything yourself. You don't have to have, the saying, right? It's not about what you know, it's who you know. That's the biggest load of BS I've ever heard. Like, for me, I became a multimillionaire without knowing some special person. I became a multimillionaire without, having to suck up or like network and kiss someone's ass. Like, I didn't have to do any of that. And that's the common that's peddled throughout society, like in the common 9-to-5 day-to-day job type of deal, right? Like, you're always taught, it's not about what you know, it's who you know. Make sure you basically, society teaches you to like basically kiss your boss's ass and try to network, when all of that is BS. Like, to meet successful people, you have to become successful yourself. Successful people are not going to just hang out with you for free. Like, it's not going to happen, right? Why would they? What value do you provide to them, right? So if you want to meet the right people later on down the road, if you want to, develop a successful circle around yourself, well, you have to first yourself become a success. You have to first yourself become a person who is on their path and who has achieved some kind of success in their life, at least a successful business, at least something, which you can show that, hey, like, yes, I have achieved this, and I am a person that follows through with what I start, with what I begin. So the best way to change your beliefs and to become this new person that will be able to basically be ready to attract success to themselves is to start reading books. And I know a lot of people, like, they have problems with reading books, right? Books have absolutely changed my life. I'll be honest with you. I read a lot when I was younger. When I was younger, I was a really nerdy kid, especially I'm saying like elementary school, middle school. I would be always that guy who would just basically play computer games all the time. And I would always just ace tests without ever studying for them. And always, like, the girls would always like cheat. They'd always hang out with me in elementary school because they'd always cheat off me, right? But basically when, like, I guess high school came, I just lost all interest in school. I still got great grades, but the difference was when I was younger, I actually read a lot of books on my own time. I think my parents, they really just kept buying me books, and I was just super interested. So I read books, and not only in English, but multiple languages, because I actually speak 3 languages. So I read a lot of books, but then when high school hit, I stopped reading books. The only books that I would ever read were like Shakespeare, Macbeth, whatever crap I had to read to basically, get the grades and do the tests and stuff, right? And I know a lot of people did the same thing because it's just boring. When you actually want to do something, you're going to do it. When you don't want to do something, you're just going to hate your life doing it, and you're not going to do it, right? But then when I hit 21 years old, and when I found this newfound interest in entrepreneurship and this massive level of like interest in achieving this amazing life and becoming a millionaire and figuring out this was possible for me and starting a successful business and achieving greatness at an early age, that's when I said, okay, you know what? I am going to start reading books. And then that is really what completely changed my beliefs and my perspective. And I'll say honestly, many people, they just, especially today with the amount of attention deficit disorder, right? With the amount of like just people, they can't focus on books. Most people, they can't even sit down and just like read a book for like, even 30 minutes. To them, the phone, TikTok, stuff like that, right? It might not be the easiest thing in the world, but if you want to achieve success, you have to learn the habits and the principles of the most successful people, the greatest people. You have to. And it's a mindset, like it's all learnable, right? It's not secret. All the knowledge exists in books. I have a part of my book collection here. I literally have $1 million book collection that I've built up since then with tons and tons of amazing books that I bought at full price off Amazon. Sometimes I buy used books on Amazon. You can find some books in great condition on Amazon. That's also an option. Just make sure when you buy it's used very good or used like new or used good. Don't buy anything below good because you're not going to know what you're going to get. But books, super important, transform my life. That's what really taught me the success mindset and essentially how to get rich and what I should be doing and what kind of business I should get into and all the kind of beginning principles of wealth. That's when my mind started to rewire itself. And then basically my life after that point just became it's like I hit escape velocity. And I just started to propel myself towards success. And later on that year, I actually reached my first multiple six figures. And then I became a millionaire actually within a year and a half, which sounds crazy. It was crazy to me at the time, but it's true. You can go look back at my videos. You can look back all the way to when I started out. I actually have videos of me cleaning windows, which I'm going to get to why I did that later on in this video, because that's actually a part of what I would tell myself to do. So I actually have a list of 10 recommended books, and the list is down below, that you absolutely should read if you want to achieve wealth and success. The sooner the better, right? So those books are all available on Amazon, and I would strongly recommend buying it. A lot of people have a problem with buying books, but like it's $8, $10, $15, and it's going to change your life. So, don't cheap out. Don't cheap out on that. People, they spend money on like alcohol, they spend money on clothing, but they can't spend 10, $15 on a book that's gonna probably very likely change their life, right? Now, the next thing I would tell myself is to make sure that you have a source of income, which is what I did. At the time, I had a corporate 9-to-5 job. I was working at the bank in Canada, and I hated my life. I didn't like it at all, and I knew I had to get out. So what I would tell myself is either stay in that job if you can tolerate it, because at least I was making a couple thousand a month, and using that couple thousand a month, which is a recurring source of income, I would be able to put that into my first business. And I really can't stress how important it is to have a source of income when you are starting on this journey, when you are trying to start an online business. If you don't have a source of income, and if you're trying to make money the easy way when you don't have a source of income, you're trying to day trade, you're trying to do all this other crap, it's going to be very, very hard for you to start a successful business. Why? Because to start a successful business, you will very likely need some money to start. For example, with e-commerce, you need at least $1,000, $2,000 for your first order, but 3, 4, 5 is better over like a long term. I'm saying like 1, 2, 3 months, because you need money for your second order as well, right? When your first order starts selling well, you have to reorder. And so either you have to have access to that money via credit cards, line of credit, whatever, or you actually need to have that money in your account to be able to reorder your second product order. So source of income is super important. So when I was working at my 9-to-5 job, I could have fully kept that job, just at least until I had my online business up and running. But since I was so just excited to start, I just wanted to quit, and I was like, I'm going to quit. I'm going to burn all my bridges. At the time, I just read one of my favorite books, which is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. In that book, he said to burn your bridges, which is exactly the opposite advice that I had gotten my entire life, which was no, don't burn your bridges. So he said, burn your bridges. If you want to succeed, burn your bridges. So I went into my job and I just basically gave the finger to my boss, just because he treated me so bad, and he treated all the coworkers so bad. And he just was on a power trip. And so he definitely deserved it. So that's what I did. And when I left that job, I had to figure out a way, like, what am I going to do? What kind of business am I going to start? Now I'm an entrepreneur. I don't have the money to start an online business, but I need to do something. Like, I need to replace my source of income, basically, right? Because I just wanted to start working for myself. And so at that point, that's when I'm like, okay, with a friend, I teamed up. We both were in this journey together. He also quit his job. We're like, let's try doing landscaping. We tried fitting the lawnmower in my Volkswagen Jetta, and the thing leaked gas everywhere, all over my car, all over the trunk of my car. So I'm like, okay, that's not going to work. You need a truck to do landscaping. And then we were thinking like, oh, let's do window cleaning, because my friend actually had experience selling window cleaning door to door. At the time, I think like just in the summers, he was doing that for a local company, and he just did door-to-door sales for window cleaning. And so that's what we did. We saw a gap in the market. We saw that we could also do the same thing. And we basically just would sell window cleaning door to door north of the big city where I'm from, north of Toronto. You could get like between $100 and $150 per house, even up to $250, depending on the size of the house. And then we found a way to actually fit all the equipment in my car, because we realized we didn't need ladders. We could just use water-fed poles. And these are these massive extendable poles that basically went up to like 30, 40, 50 feet, which is pretty much, you got any size house covered at that point. So yes, I actually needed money for that. And at the time I put in, I think I had like 1,000 or something. So I put that into that business first, to the window cleaning business, just to buy that equipment. And then now, we went out, we knocked on doors, all that kind of stuff. I think before even buying the equipment, we actually went out and we knocked on the doors. Like, we knocked on people's doors, which was, by the way, like, if you've never done door to door before, your first house is going to be terrifying. I'm not saying to do door to door. This is just my journey. But damn, it was so terrifying. That first house that I knocked, my heart was beating like this. Right? It's just because when you haven't done something before, you don't have that experience in your mind. And so, you're not used to it. And so you get nervous. Obviously, by my 10th, 20th, 50th house, I wasn't nervous at all. That's just how life is, right? It's like going up to a girl, right? You go up to a girl the first time, if you don't really talk to girls a lot, you're going to have a heart attack. Second time, third time, fourth time, whatever, but if you've been doing your entire life and you're confident in yourself, it's the same thing. You're not going to have cardiac arrest when you walk up to a pretty girl, right? And you introduce yourself. So then and there, we were able to replace our source of income, me and my friend, and I had this source of income because what we did was we started window cleaning, and we would make between $1,000 and $1,500 per day, which we would split in two, because I did this with my friend who was also wanting to get into entrepreneurship. And at the time, while we were cleaning windows, which by the way was like 4 times a week-ish, and this is something that we could only do between April and October or September, and people don't really want it late in the season though. So it was only like a summer thing. But right about April, May, that's when we started our first business next to window cleaning. So we had a few days of window cleaning. We got into social media marketing, which I would not recommend to do today. That's something that you actually need to be good at. You can't really learn it from a course. Believe me, like, unless the course is like absolutely epic, maybe there is some out there, but I took Tai Lopez's SMMA course back then, social media marketing agency. And I mean, yeah, it was okay. It showed me the opportunity, but didn't teach me any of the skills. So when we actually got our clients who were lawyers, we weren't able to actually deliver any results for them. So that was an epic fail. And then at that point, that's when I found out about Amazon. My friend actually decided to do affiliate marketing. And so, we were both looking at stuff. I found Amazon, he found affiliate marketing. And we both said, okay, how about I do Amazon, you do affiliate, and let's see, what works and what doesn't. And so a couple days later, my friend watched more Amazon videos, and then he said, you know what, let's both do Amazon. And so we were funneling all that money that we were making from window cleaning into our Amazon business. And right at that time is when I got in and I bought my first course. And so that is really what allowed me to learn every single step that I needed to learn to start my Amazon business. Although the quality of the courses that I took back then, and it wasn't just one, it was me and my friend, we had a couple that we invested in. At the time, the courses were nowhere near as good as what's available today. And so, got into that, learned all the steps, and then, my first product failed, second product failed due to items that weren't covered in the course. And then my third product succeeded. And so then I hit an income of $32K a month in the first 3 months, right? So that was like basically my story. So I would tell myself right now, get a source of income, either stay at that job, don't quit the job, right? I get why I did it now, but for most people, window cleaning is not something that everybody wants to do or is really even doable in a lot of places because in Canada where I'm from, you can do that. You can make $100, $150 a house. But in other places like in Europe, you're not going to make, it's going to be much harder to sell window cleaning. I know that because I've spoken to a lot of Europeans, I have a lot of European friends, and I've traveled a lot there and I'm from Europe. I know that most people, they're just not going to buy window cleaning. They'd rather clean it themselves. So that's something to think of. So source of income is so important. If you have a job, just treat it and understand that it's temporary. Even if you're working at McDonald's, even if you're working at, Walmart, no matter where, bank, right? You have to understand it's temporary. Okay. So when you're at that job, you're probably going to be like, oh, I just want to quit. I just want to become successful, get into all this, like start my online business, get into e-commerce. But you have to understand that look, you need that source of income. Okay. And so this is what I would do. My schedule would be like this. I would work at my job or source of income, which was window cleaning when I started, when I quit my job. So do that. And then on all my off time, I would buy a course. This is so important. I'm going to get to this in a second. Buy a course, the best, most reputable you can find where you can actually have mentorship, not just videos. That's very important. You need mentorship. So buy the course, watch the course, implement the course. It's not enough just to watch, but you also have to implement. And with all the other time that I have, other than watching the course, working the 9 to 5, implementing the course, taking action, I would read books like nonstop. Exactly what I did. That's how I got through like 400 books in the past few years. In my first year, I read I think 180 books or something. And I know this because I write notes for all my books in my Evernote, literally with my phone. A lot of people find that it's a pain in the ass to do, but it's really something that allowed me to retain all the information so well from all the books that I've been reading, that I've read in the past few years. So that's what I would do. Now, one thing about courses, I know that a lot of people, obviously they know me and they know that I sell courses, that I have an Amazon course and a Shopify course that are basically like the most well-known in the industry or some of the most well-known in the industry. And you might be thinking like, oh, the guy who sells a course is telling us to buy a course, right? Obviously. And so first of all, that comes from like scarcity mentality. A lot of people, when they're trying to do this, they think that everything is a scam and everything is just like a scheme, right? And yes, there's a lot of dishonest people out there. But honestly, if my content and my courses were bad or actually didn't get people results, I would not be in business. And Ecom Freedom, which is my company, we would not be in business for over 3 years. So I know that a lot of people are thinking, they're like, obviously the guy who sells a course is telling us to buy a course. But how do you expect to learn everything yourself? If I straight up tried to learn everything myself from free videos, I know that I would not have succeeded, because how would I piece the information together? It would just take such an enormous amount of time. Why would I do that when I can just pay, $500, $1,000 or whatever it is, which I was making for my source of income, invest in myself. I literally paid more for that in college for dumbass courses and textbooks. Why would I not just invest in myself in a course that's going to show me all the steps where I'm actually going to make money? That's the end result. I'm actually going to make money, right? Whereas in college, for example, or with certificate programs like that, you're just learning, I don't know, Photoshop or calculus or whatever. The end result is not you making money. It's just some kind of skill that you're probably never going to use. So basically, if I was telling my younger self, I'd be like, find the best course you can find on e-commerce. That's the business that I would get into. And it's exactly what I got into when I started and what I'm doing. My entire life is e-commerce. And so I would tell myself, find the best course you can find, make sure that it has mentorship. and just join that. And of course, this is where I'm going to recommend our programs for Ecom Freedom. We're the best. We actually have a team that does e-commerce, $1 million sellers. We're in the trenches every single day. And I recommend you can take a look at the links down below. You can find them there. You can find all the success stories. I'm actually releasing some interviews this week and next week of successful students who have changed their lives and achieved freedom. And they're making like multiple 6 figures, 7 figures with Ecom Freedom and e-commerce. But, do your research. Go find a course. It doesn't have to be Ecom Freedom. If you find something better, which I really, really don't think you will, because obviously we put our blood, sweat, and tears into making this thing amazing, then, you can join that. That's fine. But really, the courses is so important because every single person that I said, oh, I'm not going to buy a course, I'm going to figure everything out myself, they have gotten nowhere. Or they've reached the roadblock eventually. They might have made some money, but they reached the roadblock and then they join Ecom Freedom anyway because they know that they need that mentorship. They know that they need access to $1 million sellers who are actually like ahead of them, right? So that's what's going to happen anyway. But it's your choice, but that's my advice to my younger self. Now, one thing I will say as well is that when you are starting out with your journey, now is not the time to socialize, okay? So remember how I said, you got your source of income, your 9 to 5 or your business. Likely it's going to be 9 to 5 for most people. You have your course, you're taking action, and then you're reading the books. Okay, so people might be asking, what about socialization? What about socializing and chilling with friends and stuff? No, you're going to forget about that. And the reason why is because you have to understand that, you have to realize that you're carving your own path for yourself and that your old friends will remain your old friends and that you are just achieving something that most people will never achieve in their lives. And so that's why even, for myself, I of course enjoyed chilling with friends, hanging out with friends, going out, whatever. But at the time I knew that I had to be alone and I had to basically just focus on spending all my time, all my waking hours into improving myself and achieving my goals. So if you don't have time to read, cut away all the socialization. Now you have time to read. Boom, it's that simple. And later on, once you actually have a successful business that's actually, allowing you to live your freedom lifeline, you can then reintroduce socialization and, all your old friends once you already have a successful business. Also, people will ask you, because you're likely going to start telling people about your journey, about starting an online business. People are going to be like, whoa, I want to do that too, because obviously everybody wants the same stuff. Everybody wants freedom and success. They're going to be like, yo, can you help me? And you have to understand, no, you have to focus on yourself. Help yourself before you help others, okay? Help yourself first, even if it's family, because it's going to be so much easier to help yourself first, before trying to help someone. It's like on the plane, if the oxygen mask come down, they always say, put the oxygen mask on yourself first before your child, right? Because if you're going to try to do it on your child first, by the time it's going to be much harder for you to put the mask on your child if you can't breathe, obviously, right? And by the way, I forgot to answer why I would do e-commerce. The reason why I would do e-commerce is because it is the best business you can start today. I actually have a video on this on my channel as well called People Are Making Millions with E-commerce, and you can actually watch that. Don't leave this video yet. There's a lot of important things left to say, but you can watch that after. And in there, basically, you can see why e-commerce is the absolute best business and has created the most amount of millionaires out of any other online business in the past year and few years. So with e-commerce, I would go at it with a 2-step phase, okay? The first phase is I would focus on finding a profitable product, with the course that I'm taking, that I could build a strong brand out of. And I would really focus on, building a strong brand out of that. And this product has to be low cost, but high return, meaning that, I should be able to buy it basically for an inventory cost of like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 max. And it should be able to make me at least $5,000 to $10,000 a month in sales, right? So that's the kind of product that I would go for. Personally, and a lot of people ask me this question, which one would you start with, Amazon or Shopify? And I would start off with Amazon. Reason being is that even though, Shopify is also good, I started with Amazon. I would do the exact same thing today. The reason why I started with Amazon is because I don't have to learn how to run Facebook ads. I don't have to learn website design, which is not the easiest thing. And basically, I don't have to teach myself internet marketing to be able to build a successful business with Amazon. I just need to basically find a great product to sell, source it, and then list it on Amazon, create an amazing listing for it. And then boom, the customers are already searching for the products on Amazon. There are hundreds of millions of people on there. And so, the question of how to get traffic to your store and all that's doesn't exist anymore, because obviously you're on Amazon. When you're on Amazon, you're going to make sales if the product even has remotely any kind of demand. So that would be the first phase. Start a brand that where the product that I'm going to invest in is like a low cost but has a high return, at least $5,000 to $10,000. in sales per month. And then the second step process is once I've actually built up that first brand, which likely will not be something I'm super passionate about. Like my first brand on Amazon was not something that I was passionate about at all, but that has led me to things where I'm actually more passionate. And so that would take me to step 2 or phase 2, where then I could use the money that I'm making from my first brand and my first product on Amazon. And then I could take that money and then basically use that to invest into a brand that would require a higher investment to start, but also has much higher barriers to entry. What's a barrier to entry? It means that it's harder for other people to get in. So the more the investment, the capital investment, obviously the harder it is for other people to get in. And so right now I'm actually building up a food brand, a food e-commerce brand in the fitness niche. And for that, obviously it has cost me a lot more than just $1,000 or $2,000. But this 2-step, 2-phase process is really something that I realize is so powerful and anybody can do and will absolutely change your life and will allow you to first hit 6 figures, then 7 figures, then 8 figures and beyond, and will basically allow you to become a multimillionaire from e-commerce. Also, for my younger self, what I would do is I would start a YouTube channel, but only for supplemental income. And that's only for myself because I actually knew that one of my strengths was speaking and communication. And so, that's why I wanted to play on that strength. And I had this interest in YouTube and I wanted to help people. And it's my passion. Like I love helping people and I've changed the lives of thousands of people through my content. So that's why I would start that with, the goal of helping people and supplemental income as well, because obviously I'm making money from ads. And then obviously I launched the courses, which would help with that supplemental income that I could funnel into my 2-step, 2-phase e-commerce process where, you have your first brand feeding into your second brand. But that's only for me. I don't think everybody should start a YouTube channel. I think that the amount of work is enormous and it's really a headache. And most people would just hate their lives. And everybody thinks that courses are easy money when in fact it's actually much harder to make YouTube videos and content than it is to build $1 million e-commerce business, in my opinion. And that's with me saying this with my strength being YouTube and being communication and making these videos, right? So, but that's just something that I would do. I think that you should just focus on the 2-step, 2-phase process with e-commerce, building that first, small brand, making that money and reinvesting that money into the second, much more scalable brand that will really be the brand that you are known for, that you can later scale to millions and potentially sell it. So wow, I know that was a long video, but that's what I would do if I started from zero. And for the courses that I mentioned, like I said, you absolutely should buy a course. That's what I would tell my younger self, to do exactly that. Our courses, Ecom Freedom, Amazon FBA, link is down below, as well as Shopify Freedom. You can check it out. For the Amazon FBA, there's a free trial. For Shopify Freedom, there is no free trial, but it's 50% off. The price of both courses is going up because they're just too cheap right now. And we just want to attract a higher quality level of students because, the cheaper it is, the lower quality people. And those are the ones that, first of all, are really annoying. And second of all, they never get anything done. They never take any action and they blame everything on the business model or the course. So we don't really want that. So that's why right now you can get both programs. Links are down below. Start off with Amazon or Shopify. Amazon, 7-day free trial. Shopify is $497, 50% off. You can check that out. And if you're not ready yet, just do your research. If you find a better course, awesome. Although I do not think that you will. I'm sure that you won't actually. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel. You can also listen to my podcast, The Dan Bash Show, where I talk about achieving the freedom lifeline, achieving success, riches, happiness, wealth, and everything, all the good stuff. The freedom lifeline, everything that goes with that. And I'm telling you that success is much closer than you think. So thank you so much. I'll see you next time.